Sun. These are our folks born from July 23rd through August 22nd. Leo, as you may know if you are a Leo or if you've dated or if you're dating a Leo, this is the lion. That's the symbol, the animal symbol. When I think of Leo, I think of the sun, though. I like to think of the way that a lion radiates its roar out away from itself, right? Our sun radiates its light and energy and radiation out from its body, which of course keeps our planet here, the Earth, keeps our ecosystem working, keeps us all alive. It's why we have plants to eat and animals have plants to eat, and etc., and oxygen and all the good stuff that we need here to keep this beautiful planet humming. So with that comes creativity. You think of all the things that are here on the earth, and it's a process of creation, of birth and death and regeneration and over again. That's all fueled by the sun. So when you think of a Leo, I want you to think of this dynamic, outward, creative energy. That is Leo. A Leo is here to self-express. They're here to be heard, to be seen. Many times Leos, if someone has a very strong Leo chart, you know them when you see them. I met two Leos just this past week, and I knew immediately before they even told me their birthday that they were Leo, or at least had a Leo rising or a Leo moon, you know. Leo has a colorfulness, and not literal colorfulness necessarily, although it can be, but there is a sparkly, energetic, charismatic energy that comes from the Leo. Okay. Now, on the high side with Leo, we have a fixed sign. So this is someone who, once they've made their mind up about something, they're quite loyal and they're committed, sometimes to a fault even. They can sometimes, like the Taurus or sometimes the Scorp, or, you know, they sometimes can get themselves in situations where they stay longer than they should, okay? Not always. Now, if they're, as long as they're being admired and they feel like this is a situation where they're getting their pets and the affection and the time and the admiration that they need from their partner, they can overstay relationships that are maybe with partners who are on again, off again. You know, that can sometimes happen to a Leo, because when it's on, it's really good and they feel fantastic, and then when it's off, they can feel dejected and they want to win back the on again affections of their partner, if that makes sense. So that can happen sometimes with Leo. Now, back to the Leo temperament, though. Also, this is a personality type that's quite protective of loved ones. It's a fire sign. They have a natural leadership quality to them. They are warm and affectionate. They're quite generous. They like to, many times, a lot of Leo's men in particular, they're gift givers, you know. Because there's a nostalgia, sort of like the way Cancer is nostalgic, but in a different way. They like to be giving the gifts or giving the love. You know, that's this outward flow of energy. But also, let's move to the shadow side of Leo. On the shadow side, Leo can also be pouty. If they're not getting the attention that they want or that they feel they deserve, they can be pouty. They can be you know, like they're the divine child, actually, of the zodiac, the divine child, the sun, and you know, they can, at times, if they feel like they're not being loved by their partner, as a mother would love a child, they pout like a little baby. So also, Leos need to feel like they're number one. They need to feel like they are the be-all and end-all. I have so many clients. This is really funny. It's anecdotal, of course, but I would say I can think of right now 5 or 6 different clients who have and also 2 people that I've dated who have exes who have their moon in Leo, that are female with the moon in Leo, and who broke up with, okay, mind you, they broke up with the male partner, but then after that male partner has moved on to a new female, the Leo moons come back into the picture, okay? Or they still need to feel like they're number one, even though they don't even really care about the partner, okay? Now this is shadow side. So hopefully if you're listening to this and you're a Leo, you don't do such silly tricks. But if you do, we're on to you. Also, you've got, they can be vain, right? They can be proud, dignified on the high side, and proud kind of on the like low functioning side, where they don't want to look bad, so they can cover their tracks, or, you know, lie about something to save face. They're such good salespeople. They're so good at talking you into whatever it is that they kind of have in mind. Like a true Leo, they're so enthusiastic and charismatic. You feel like, well, yeah, I want to do whatever it is you're talking about. That sounds great. They can really sell people into something. But that can also make them seem a little. They can be bossy sometimes, or they can be a little overbearing with what they think is the right way. If you're working like in a team, sometimes the Leo can be like wants to get its way. It's the king and the queen, so they can be a little demanding or bossy. But ultimately, they are a strong leader, and a lot of times they are correct. They have a good intuition, and it's different than a water sign intuition. It's a fire sign intuition. It's just kind of like they'll strike out and try something, and if it doesn't quite go the way that they expect it to go, they'll fix it and make it go the way. You know what I mean? That's a fixed energy. It's like taking what you've got in the present moment and making it work. Okay, applying energy to that to make it work. Now, as far as also another shadow side thing. They do have a high need for thank yous and for praise. And I don't know that that's necessarily shadow side or low functioning. I feel like that's actually just, if you as a partner or a friend, if you understand your Leo, you recognize that they are generous and they give, okay? But they don't do it the way a Virgo does it, where it's like self-effacing, like they give. They don't really expect or nor kind of in a way want or feel comfortable with receiving in return. Leo's not like that. Leo's the divine child. It's like a kid playing. They want to throw you the ball, and then they want you to throw it back to them. Like, okay, like they want the back and forth. They want to give to. It's just like the sun and the moon, right? So the sun shines on the moon reflects the light back. They just want this reciprocity there, and they want to be told thank you, or like to recognize that they're making an effort and they're focusing all their divine energy on you. So recognize that and know that you are with someone who is here to express their ego. So you need to support that sort of life purpose. Okay, Leo's in love. Now you've got a Leo, someone who's true Leo. They're very romantic, they're ardent, and because remember we talked about them being the divine child, there's an innocence to the way that they love. They like to have fun, they like to be spontaneous and surprise their partner with, whether it's a fun trip or it's even just something simple like a love letter that they've left for you on the counter, or, a female Leo, I can see her leaving like lipstick kisses and words and stuff on the mirror, like that kind of thing. Like they like to demonstrate and express their love when they're really in love with someone, and they're really proud. Like on social media, you see Leos, they'd be posting like pictures of their partner and the two of them together, and they want to show you off. And it's out of this place of kind of like, they just admire you as well. And so when they admire, they have to like let others know. They can't like keep it to themselves. Okay, Leo's expectations in love. Now, Leos many times, like I said earlier, they have a little pride and dignity to themselves in the way that they operate. They appreciate a partner who also takes pride in themselves. And this includes physically. A lot of Leos, they can be kind of flashy with the way that they dress. You could have a Leo that started out, with not a lot of money, and then gets a job in the real world, and starts making some good money, and then the first thing they would do is go out and buy some really nice clothes. Like they like to, again, because they're this energy that's about flowing outward from this. It's an extroverted expression of energy. So to be seen, to be heard, to make a mark, that's Leo. And so the way you dress many times, they can be bold. So they like a partner who is also someone who presents well, someone that they can take out in public and be proud of. Now, also expectations. They expect loyalty. They are loyal. If they've committed to you, if they're in love with you, with a Leo, okay? Of course, the whole chart, we need to look at the whole chart, but Leo's quite expressive and ardent. When they're in love, they can't help but tell you, so you will know. And if you violate that and you are not loyal in return, that will really anger a Leo. And it's the one thing that would make a Leo leave, really. And a Leo who stays in a situation where their partner is cheating on them, they've got to have some, water or earth on that moon, or, some other things happening there, perhaps some Virgo Pisces stuff happening, or 6 and 12 house stuff happening to get them to stay, and they're going to hate themselves the whole time that they're staying. So loyalty is important. Leo's biggest fear is, their number one kind of, remember, they're the sun. So they need to be recognized. They need to feel like they're doing something with their life that's important. In their relationships, they need to feel like they're important to the partner. There is a little bit of an egocentrism to them. I mean, look, the sun It's our star that holds our entire solar system together. So they probably deserve, and they probably, you know, a Leo typically, and if, as long as they're well aspected, they're quite loving and they deserve the admiration that they need, you know, they seek. Their biggest concern is that they're not important, that they're not, you know, number one to their partner, that they're not number one in whatever their field of work is. You know, they're quite ambitious. Because it's the sense that you came, you lived your life, but you didn't do the one thing you were supposed to come do, which is leave a mark, an indelible mark that's unique to you. That's Leo's mission. So if they feel like they're not accomplishing that, then you got a sad Leo. So that's their fear. So support them in their efforts, their creative efforts, their career efforts. Be patient with them when they do go through a little ego, times where they get a little, kind of a little inflated ego. If you can help bring them back to earth, that's always good. But do it in a nice way without hurting their dignity. Okay? And ultimately, they just need love and affection returned back to them. They're pretty simple. They want to be admired, loved, and snuggled, and all of that good stuff. So that's your Leo. Sagittarius. Sagittarius Suns are born from November 22nd through December 21st. This is our zodiac sign ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is a planet that in astrology we associate with expansion, growth, optimism. It's a benefic, good energy. All right. So Sagittarius types, we've got a fire sign. I think of them as initially, you know, you've got the archer, which is the centaur, you know, shooting the arrow. I like to think of, I simplify it, it's just horses playing around, you know, horses playing in a field with each other. Sagittarius energy does have this carefree, spirited, natural, authentic, genuine playfulness to it. There is you know, they can be a little outspoken. They kind of say what they think many times. It can be crude even, or like a little lacking in refinement, so to speak. Like they're just really natural. But ultimately, Sagittarius is this personality type that's very optimistic. They're forward-leaning. They like to think about the journey. They like to think about the stories that they'll write on this journey. You know, they want their fire sign, so they need new fuel and new experiences. They traditionally, this ninth house is the Sagittarius house. This has to do with travel and the wisdom of the world around us. So you have people who a lot of times are interested in self-help or like improving themselves, being authentic and true to themselves, and not self-betraying and that kind of thing. In love and in romance with Sagittarius as well, because there's this natural approach they take to romance and sexuality. You can have someone who's quite libidinous in a sense, I suppose, but has a very healthy sex life. You know, someone who can be known as kind of like a player, but not like the way that maybe a Gemini or an air sign might be thought of as a player, where it's these mind games. It's more just they bounce around, you know, and they have multiple interests, and they can spread themselves a little bit thinly sometimes. So that Sagittarius is something they can be known for. Your high-functioning Sagittarius Suns, you're going to have someone who's genuine, open, authentic. They are growth-oriented. They're optimistic. They like to try new things. There's generosity there, like you have with a Leo. They're laid back. They've got an easygoing naturalness to them, even if it's someone really important, like a celebrity or something, or someone who you might think is really attractive and might be quite full of themselves. They'll have like a self-deprecating manner to them. They'll get it. They'll know that they won't want to feel like they're better than you, so they'll want to bring themselves to the same level as you, because they want it to be fun and playful and have everybody, they've got this quality to them where they like to coach people and bring people up. So they don't want to bring you down. They want to, bring you up. They are thought of as the teacher, the guru, the guide. They enjoy spreading things around that they've learned, and they enjoy conversation. They've got a great sense of humor, and they give a lot of freedom in their relationships to their partner. They give it and they expect it in return. They have an optimism to them where they just trust that things will work out the way they're supposed to work out, and so they're open to that. Right. Low-functioning Sagittarius. Now remember, this is when we're dealing with a pure Sagittarius. Let's say we had a perfectly pure Sagittarius. They can sometimes be overly optimistic. They take risks. They'll take some risks and gambles that could be a little bit, in hindsight, they might think, I should maybe have thought through that a little bit before being so spontaneous and jumping into it. They you know, they can be very go with the flow, like to go with the flow, where they can, unless they've got a lot of earth. If you've got a Sagittarius with a lot of earth in their chart, like on their moon, or an earthy placement for that Sagittarius sun, you're going to have someone that's pretty, you know, they can have a hard time finding direction and focus, because this is a mutable sign after all. They can be sort of dreamers and have all these different projects that they're like, oh, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and they can't just like focus it all in one direction. You know, they're the opposite of Gemini. It's a Gemini issue as well. They can be a little bit commitment phobic, because to be a wild horse galloping around, if you are pinned up in a corral, you're no longer a wild horse galloping around. So in order to make that make it work for them, they have to feel like instead of it being a corral that they're partnered with, that they're partnered with another wild horse that they're galloping with, you know. So you're both free to go your own directions, but, you know, you're ultimately going to come back together, because these are horses, they're a herd animal, they need each other, okay? That's Sagittarius. They also can be quite flirtatious. You know, it's that generosity of spirit that they have to them. They can sort of just really enjoy the interchange between the sexes. So that can make partners who are prone to being jealous a little bit insecure or unsure. And then lastly, I would say they can be flaky. They can overpromise and underdeliver. That's kind of a Sagittarius, or someone who's got a strong Jupiter in their chart. That can be something that can happen. And they really, when they promise it, they really mean it. They think they can do it. It's just they're not realistic sometimes with what they can actually accomplish. So they can get themselves in a little bind. All right, Sagittarius is in love. They are natural, playful, ardent, passionate. They express their love very openly, authentically. They wear their heart on their sleeve. They're not complicated in their love nature. I dated a triple Sagittarius, for 2.5 years, and it was wonderful. They are really open with their expression of love, whether it's through physical affection or just words. And there is it's that optimism. It's like this belief that ultimately the universe is benefic or something, and that things will all work out all right, or that they're benefic and that their intentions are benefic, so they assume the partners are as well. So they have the optimism and this eagerness for the love romance to sort of blossom, but they're simple too. They're pretty simple in what they want in romance. They really just want good sex, go do fun things together, spontaneity. Stopping them from doing something will be you know, they won't like that. And that includes, you know, if they're making sexual advances at you, if you're just like, oh, I'm too tired, they'll be, I don't know, boring. You know, they won't appreciate that. Sagittarius expectations in love. They want a partner they can grow with. So this is everything from travel together, create a story together. You know, if they've got a lot of water in their chart, they'll want to grow family together with you. They'll want to laugh. Like Sagittarius is, more than any of the other signs, I think of laughter and jokes and just like crude humor. But you know, they want a romance that is fun and playful and moving forward, and where there's a lot of freedom to roam about, as I said earlier. They also like a partner who is positive, has a good attitude, who is also forward-leaning. They don't want to have to clean up your messes. I mean, they will if they have to, but they really don't. They don't really love to have to do that. So they prefer a partner that's optimistic and happy and excitable, and ready for anything. So Sagittarius' biggest fear, it would be similar to Gemini, I would say. Except for it kind of comes from a different place. So Sagittarius is worried about being trapped. The thought of being stuck in a relationship where there's not the things that they need to feel passionate and excited and like their life is growing and moving forward. If they feel like they've got a partner who's possessive, controlling, demanding, jealous, those are huge turnoffs. Someone who's emotionally really clingy and needs a lot of validation from the Sagittarius, that's quite different from the way that they're built, and they will feel like, you know, why are you making a big deal over that? So their biggest fear is that, you know, being stuck with a wet blanket. That doesn't sound like that'd be fun for any of us, but for Sagittarius in particular, they don't like this idea of being, it's like those wild horses being stuck out in a rainstorm or something. They're just like, oh, get it. Where's the shelter I can hide under? Get me away from this rain, you know? So you'll put out their fire quickly. So their fear is being trapped. Let them know they have long, invisible reign that they can run as far in any direction as they want, as long as they come back. barn happy. Remember the saying of a barn happy horse. Horses like to leave the barn, but they almost always, if you're riding horses, they gallop back to the barn rather than wanting to walk, because the barn's where it's warm and there's food and there's water and, you know, sugar cubes. So just keep that barn filled with all of those good things and your Sag will be running back to you. Okay. Leo and Sagittarius. We got two fire signs here. These two naturally make very good playmates, if not lovers. What you have happening is Sagittarius and Leo both are actually really pretty open about what they think and express these things, you know, out loud. Sagittarius would be the type that'd be like, whoa, you're hot, Leo. And Leo would be thinking, oh, thank you, you know. So the openness with which Sagittarius will definitely fan the flames of Leo's ego. I don't mean to make Leos sound like they're these vain creatures, but Leos do need to feel like they're important, and they do need to be recognized for their beauty or for their sexiness in a relationship. So that's fine. Now, as far as these two the long-term conflict, you're going to run into. Sagittarius is busy, 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 and Leo sometimes needs a lot of attention. Leo sometimes needs a lot of, needs to know that they're number one to their partner, and Sagittarius might think that they're number one, but Sagittarius doesn't really require that themselves, and so it might not occur to them that the Leo needs as much attention or coddling as the Leo may need, and maybe too proud to admit as well. That's also kind of a Leo thing. They'll pout, or you have to just kind of figure it out. So Sagittarius might just be kind of thinking, what's going on? I'm lost here. Why are you, what did I do? Especially if you've got a Sagittarius male and a Leo female, you could definitely really see that. But you can also see this with Leo men. Leo men can be a little pouty, and I love Leo men, so no put downs, but they can be little babies sometimes. They're the divine child, so they can at times, if they feel like they're not getting the attention that they feel that they deserve, they can get a little pouty, okay? Harmony between these two, though, you've got someone who, the Leo can really capture the Sagittarius' heart. So Sagittarius, they're this sign that's quite free-spirited and wild. So Leo will feel important, and they'll feel like they have this virility or this ability to capture this wild Sagittarius' heart and to be the one that kind of keep their attention. So that in and of itself is pleasing to Leo. And Sagittarius will feel like they've got a match that's someone that's equal to the task of just trying new things and fun and adventure and passion, and Leo will like to show off the Sagittarius. Leo likes to show off their partner. If they're proud of their partner, they like to show them off. And Sagittarius will be like, oh, okay, sure. Sagittarius won't really mind, won't care either way, I suppose. So this is a nice, a wonderful coupling, actually. I like these two fire signs together. How other people will see these two, most likely, just a happy, passionate couple that were made for each other, that are always on the go and trying new things, and perhaps a little bit loud and opinionated, and people know where you stand on things, and but good. So, all right, let me know. What do you think? What about your Leo-Sagittarius relationship? Post it below and we'll talk about it. Have a great day. Okay, thanks for watching. See ya. Bye-bye.